Hi everybody, once again Lorenzo and Alberto with you, Mobile Experience, and this time we're here with you to do the comparison between the brand new Apple iPhone 6 versus the Samsung Galaxy S5. So we're talking about the two top phones of Apple and Samsung. Now we switch on the phone, the button is placed on the right as Lorenzo is showing you. Talking about the display, 4.7 inches IPS 326 ppi for the iPhone 6 versus 5.1 Full HD Super AMOLED 441 ppi for the S5. The CPU, the chip A8 dual-core 1.4 GHz. The GPU is the Power VR quad-core for the iPhone 6. S5 responds with the Snapdragon 801 2.5 GHz quad-core with the GPU, the Adreno 330. Talking about the RAM, 1 GB for the iPhone, 2 GB for the Samsung. The ROM 16, 64, 128 non-expandable gigabyte non-expandable for the iPhone, 16 GB expandable with microSD for the S5, 1810 mAh not removable battery for the iPhone, 2800 mAh removable for the S5. Talking about the camera, iPhone has got 8 megapixel 1.2 front, S5 has got 16 megapixel with 2 megapixel front. Now we take a look to the phone. First of all, the iPhone, we can say that in our opinion is very well built and developed phone. You've got this great quality aluminum on the back, it's very well built, as Lorenzo is showing you. Maybe you cannot have the perfect grip because the edge is round and the back has got a great quality, maybe not the perfect grip. In the S5, in our opinion, the back texture doesn't reach the level the build quality level of the iPhone, but guarantees you a better grip. So it depends on what you consider the most. The camera comes out a little bit in both phones, so we really suggest you to use them with a cover, because otherwise you run the risk of scratching cameras. Sensor for the measurement of the bit on the S5, not on the iPhone. Both have got the sensor for the fingerprint that you use to unlock the screen. Here it is, as you can see. On the iPhone, on the S5, you need to wipe down, as Lorenzo is showing you. On the iPhone, you just need to put your finger there. The one big difference, it depends on what you consider it to be important or not, but there is one big difference. The S5 is water resistant, so you're guaranteed that this phone can stay 30 minutes at 1 meter deep under the level of water, deep down. And it's fully water resistant. The iPhone 6 is not water resistant. So it depends on your personal taste and needs, but you've got this additional quality to the S5, the EP certification 67 with water and dust certification. Every slot can be covered in order to the phone to react to water and dust in a perfect way. Talking about the user interface, you've got iOS 8.0.2, the Android is 4.4.2 KitKat in the S5, and as you may know, the Android is much more customizable. iOS is inspiring, in our opinion, to the philosophy of the Android, because in this iPhone 6 you can, for example, change the keyboard, but of course it doesn't reach the level of customization reached by the Android. But maybe it remains more simple to use. So of course it depends on what you consider the most. If you want a customizable phone, 100%, you need to go to the Android. If you prefer a phone to be simple to use, intuitive, maybe the iPhone guarantees the best choice for you. The difference is less evident in these two new phones because, like said, in iPhone 6 guarantees a little bit bigger customization, but doesn't reach the level of Android. So it depends on what you consider the most, what you prefer. Talking about the reception, Wi-Fi and GPS, no problem with two phones. We have tested them. We decided to have a trip with the GPS with both phones, and they are very reactive using Google Maps. Reception is very good, and you connect with the Wi-Fi with no problems at all. You're not going to have any kind of problem. These are two top phones, top devices, so that's exactly what we expected, no problem at all. Now we're going to focus on the camera, and as you know, as said before, 8 megapixel versus 16 megapixel. But as you may know, megapixel is not everything to evaluate cameras, so now we're going to take a close look to photos. The iPhone is much simple to use. The S5 has got a lot of mode and options, like Lorenzo is showing you, the selected autofocus, white balance, ISO, filters. On the iPhone 6, you're going to find few filters, the HDR, the flash possibility, the possibility to record video using a lot of FPS, but the modes are not as much as S5, so two different philosophies that stays back to this. Two photo camera in our opinion. You've got, talking about videos, you've got much more resolution in the S5, 4K versus Full HD, but the iPhone 6 reacts, talking about the frame per second, because the iPhone 6 can record videos with 240 frames per second. So in our opinion, talking about the videos, the match is even. More resolution in the S5, more frame per second in the iPhone 6. It depends once again on your personal needs. Now we're going to take a look at the same photos. In our opinion, this photo is better in the S5. Of course, the display has more definition, but we can guarantee you that also if you bring photos on your personal computer, the photo is a little bit better in the S5. Those are two great cameras in our opinion. You can have really good photos because the iPhone is optimized in a great way to very, very fast autofocus camera, and you're not going to have any kind of problem. You can really be satisfied with the level reached by these two cameras. In our opinion, in the quality, talking about the quality of the photos, maybe the S5 wins. Not in every photo, but in a majority of them. The Samsung Galaxy S5 is able to produce the better photos, talking about these two devices. Of course, you need to get habit to use the modes, but if you use it in full manual or also at stock level, at a stock camera, maybe the Samsung Galaxy S5, this 16 megapixel versus 8 megapixel, you can actually feel the difference. Not a double difference as you can imagine seeing the megapixel, but the photos are slightly better in Samsung Galaxy S5 for sure. Now we're going to focus on videos. First of all, we're going to take a look to the colors, white and black as always. So, as Lorenzo is showing you, now we're going to focus our attention. The black is slightly better in Samsung because Super AMOLED, great definition, great black, absolute, but very good black also in iPhone 6 considering it's an IPS screen. And so good result reached by this iPhone 6. The white is very good in both phones. It doesn't tend neither to gray, blue, yellow, so very good white, pretty absolute in our opinion. Now we're going to reproduce the same videos in both phones in order to see the quality of the display, how they are going to react, and the differences between these two top phones. Here it is. Now we're going to try to synchronize them. Here it is. So both phones run this video in a very fluid way, no lags at all. Great result achieved by both phones, as you can see. In our opinion, talking about the definition, the S5 is slightly better, but the quality of the reproduction is great in both phones. The angle of view is awesome, as Lorenzo is showing you. You can have a fantastic angle of view. The Apple decided to have the HD resolution, but in our opinion it's a good choice by Apple because it doesn't stress a lot at the battery and the quality of the reproduction still remains at a very good level. So good choice in our opinion by Apple, and the video runs in a very good way, no lags. You can see films with any kind of problem. We can show you about this thing. When you see videos with a lot of light, the last thing we can say is that when you see videos with a lot of light, the iPhone 6 realized the better performances in our opinion. Now we're going to focus about music. We're going to reproduce the same song. Here it is. In the S5, the position is not very good because it's on the back. So problems if the phone is placed on a table, for example. Here it is. So you heard the quality of the two phones. In our opinion, the iPhone 6 wins this audio part because the volume is better in the iPhone, slightly better. The quality is slightly better in the iPhone, and the speaker position is better in the iPhone. So these three aspects, in our opinion, count a lot in this aspect, and the iPhone 6 wins the audio challenge. For this reason, it's not a big difference, but talking about the audio, in our opinion, there is the difference. Here it is, the jack position is not the same. In the Samsung is on the upper side, in the iPhone is on the lower side. It depends on your personal taste, on how you put the phone in your pocket, in which verse, but not a big deal. Talking about gaming, these are two really good devices we've tested with Real Racing 3, so a pretty challenging game. And we need to say that although the Samsung Galaxy S5 is much more powerful, as you know, the iPhone 6 is really good optimized because the apps on the iPhone 6 are very, very optimized. So they run at a level which is pretty comparable to the Samsung Galaxy S5. Although it's much more powerful, the game runs in a very fluid way with no lags in both phones. So we were really satisfied by that. Now we're going to move on. We're going to talk about browser, very important aspect in this phone because of course top phone. So you're going to use it a lot also for working, for surfing on the internet. So we're going to benchmark these two phones also in this aspect. As you can see, there is a difference in scrolling. With the iPhone 6, you need to scroll a lot in order to go down. With the S5, one scroll down is enough to go at the end of a page. In our opinion, it's better. So it's much more comfortable to go down just once to go at the end of the page, not a lot of times like it happens in the iPhone. So it's not a big deal, but we prefer the choice of the S5 to give a scroll which is much more effective compared to the iPhone 6. But those are two great browsers, few white zones as you can see. The pinch to zooming is great, the pen is great, the browser follow your finger in an instant as you can see, although this site is really testing with a lot of photos, videos, links. But those are very good browsers, very reactive, so they guarantee you a very good user experience in the surfing on the internet, in the browser part. You're not going to have any kind of problem. You're going to be satisfied by these two phones in this aspect. As you can see, Lorenzo is testing this site, but the level reached is very good. Now we're going to talk about battery, because battery is maybe the weak point, as you may know, of Apple iPhone 6. The problem is that if you use it in an intensive way, you run the risk of not arriving till dinner. So when in the late afternoon, the phone ran down of battery. And it's a big problem because in intensive use we mean texting messages, maybe playing some games sometimes, phone, email, surfing on the internet. It's a common use nowadays for a smartphone, and if you use the iPhone like that, you have problems to arrive till dinner. With an intensive use, instead with the Samsung Galaxy S5 you can arrive till after dinner, so it guarantees you a one-day experience, a one-day full experience. And the 1000 milliampere more, you can actually feel them. They have an effective part in that. So in battery, the Samsung Galaxy S5 wins. And you need to consider that on the iPhone 6 is not a removable battery, so you cannot do anything else instead of using in a less intensive way and hope it arrives till after dinner. But in our opinion, you're going to have problems in that. So to conclude our video, what can we say? These are two great phones in our opinion, two top devices. They've got two different ideas in the build structure, because the Android is more customizable, as we said before. You've got a lot of options. If you don't like a thing, you can change the launcher, you can change the interface, you can decide the amount of pages, you can decide the position of the icons, you have the up drawer, you have the second page menus, so a lot of things, a lot of customizable aspect. The iPhone 6 prevails talking about the simplicity of use. It's much more simple to use, so it depends on whether you are interested in technology, if you want a simple device or if you want a customizable device, then you should go either to iPhone 6 or Samsung Galaxy S5. They still remains a little bit different in this aspect. The dimensions are pretty similar, as you can see, because maybe iPhone 6, the screen is 4.7 against 5.1, but the edge up and down is a little bit better in the S5, as you can see, more optimized. The edge in the upper side and lower side is better on the S5 because the similar dimension is the dimension is pretty similar. But if you compare it with the iPhone 5s, in our opinion, it's much more better. The iPhone 6, a very good display, so you can see videos and stuff like that. Talking about the price, 729 euros with the iPhone 6 and 699 for the S5, but you find it online. You can find online at 430. So that was all for today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our new channel and share the video on Facebook and stuff like that. We will be very pleased. See you next time. Bye bye. By Lorenzo and Alberto.